Welcome everyone. We have very nearly made it. Only a few more sleeps to wait until we can welcome you back to your club to play golf and tennis once more. Hopefully you would have received the club's roadmap outlining the key areas that will open as we progress through the year. In today's video, I want to discuss walkers on the golf course, outdoor dining from the 12th of April, what works we have completed on the golf course, works we intend to complete in the future, and what to expect when you return. In terms of booking then, you should be aware of how to do this online from the communication sent to you. If you are unsure, please do contact us and we'd be more than happy to help. Although there will be a lot of excitement around the club, we must remember to continue to follow social distancing guidelines and to refrain from arriving too early or lingering in the car park after your play. So during lockdown, many of you have enjoyed walking the courses and keeping an eye on the greenkeepers, as have many members of the public. We have been really glad to play our part in keeping the local community safe and healthy, but with the reopening of the courses from Monday, use of the club's land, including all of its roads, by the public becomes a significant health and safety risk. So in addition to the recently placed yellow road signs and the public right-of-way markers, the club is doing a number of things to help educate the public that the land and roads are private property and of the dangers that they include. These include adding 6 additional signs along the 4 entrances of the club, explaining that the land is private and the risks that they face. A communication has been sent to the Moor Residential Estate Company to politely remind them that they have no special rights of walking on the golf course and letting them know that the courses will be reopening. As before, our rangers will stop as many walkers and cyclists as possible. And finally, the board and I are looking at both short-term and long-term ways of reducing the public footfall on our private land. It is important to remind you that the club does have a definitive public right-of-way passing through the courses. It passes from the 8th on the high to the 2nd on the west. This path is clearly marked with tall, white-topped posts. And please remember, any member of the public using this path has right-of-way, and golfers should wait until they have passed before continuing. So on the golf courses then, during lockdown, our greenkeeping team have been incredibly busy. The list of tasks completed is pretty extensive, but let me take you through a few of their key accomplishments. On the greens, to fight against yet another very wet winter, the team's goal was to break down as much organic matter in the top surface as they could. The team have completed a programme of slitting, solid tining, pencil tining, top dressing and sarrel rolling, all throughout the period of lockdown. A whopping 60 tonnes of top dressing sand has been applied to the greens to aid the breakdown of the organic matter and also to help keep the tined holes open and allow more oxygen to flow through to the upper soil profile. As part of the club's 5-year course investment programme, rope green drainage has been installed this winter on the 2nd and the 9th of the high and the 17th of the west. This now takes us up to a total of 5 greens with the technology installed, and the plan is to continue to work through the remainder of the greens over the coming years. All tee areas have received a solid tining programme, plus a slow releasing fertiliser to kick in once the temperatures reach the growing thresholds. Again, as part of the course's 5-year investment programme, the 3rd of the high and the 18th of the west have been re-levelled and re-turfed. All fairways have been tined to a depth of 6 inches using a state-of-the-art Toro Pro coring machinery. This aids in the breakup of organic matter and allows airflow to penetrate through the top surface. We're actually showing you here the 7th fairway of the West course, which is where we stood a year and a half ago and filmed a members video, and we focused on the lack of growth specifically from these mounded areas. It wasn't growing because of a waxy layer which prevented any moisture going through to the surface and thus resulting in no growth. It is great to be here now showing you the comparison and the result and the work that the team have done over the last 2 years. This has been completed with overseeding, verti-draining, scarifying and fertiliser programmes. Outside of the typical work, the team have been extremely busy with other less obvious but still very important projects. Significant drainage work, including new ditches and piping on the 1st, 2nd and 7th of the West, and 1st, 2nd and 12th on the High have been completed. You can see from the video how much rainfall the team have had to cope with, and we are very pleased and proud with the works that they have achieved. Gravel banding has been completed on the 4th of the High. All bunkers have been topped up with over 200 tonnes of sand. As per last year, a specialised root pruning machine has been used to reduce the impact of encroaching tree roots, and where required, tree stumps have been grounded down and re-turfed. Scrub clearance and significant tree work has also been completed across both golf courses. For example, on the 8th tee of the High, the hedge has been reduced in height to get more light and air into this traditionally shady area. Light and air and moisture are the 3 most critical requirements for a healthy and full grass coverage. So we are looking forward to reaping the benefits of the improved air and light that will now reach these areas. All paths, including the top of the driving range, have been improved and repaired. At the top of the driving range, the mats have been re-levelled and the undercover dry range cleaned and moved to accommodate more players. I am sure you will join me in your appreciation and thanks to our greenkeeping team, who have been working in some incredibly difficult conditions over the past few months and have achieved some great results. In terms of ongoing work then, we must remind ourselves that we are returning to golf in March and not June as we did last year. The soil temperatures, although improved since the snowy conditions of last month, have still not quite reached the nighttime ground conditions where grass starts to grow consistently. Typically, we require something around the 10-degree mark. Although the grass coverage has improved, we are fully aware that there are some patches that have suffered from worm casts and the grass coverage is less than ideal. To tackle these areas, the team have started a planned, localised overseeding programme for all of these areas on the fairway, in the anticipation of the improved soil temperatures and the increased daylight that we'll hopefully get very soon. To help with these areas and the overall condition of the fairways, fertiliser will also be applied when the conditions are suitable. So moving away from the golf course, but for the future projects, I wanted to give you an update on the irrigation project that we have in the pipeline. In January, we submitted a pre-application to both the Environmental Agency and also Historic England. The purpose of these pre-applications were to open communication channels and to ascertain what may or may not be possible. Regrettably, we have yet to receive a formal response from either organisation and therefore cannot update you further on the project. As soon as we have any finer details, we will of course let you know, and it is still our intention to host a members forum to discuss the projects further. So moving away from the golf courses and on to the next stage of our roadmap. On Monday the 12th of April, pending government approval, we are planning to offer you a full outdoor food and beverage service. We regrettably suffered significant damage to our wonderful marquee during the extremely high winds on the 10th of March. As you can imagine, the demand for marquee sales is incredibly high at the moment, and we have been unable to get the required replacement parts in time for the 12th of April. However, we understand how important this area is to our members, and we're willing to go the extra lengths to make this possible. So I'm pleased to say that we will have another marquee coming from Denmark, of all places, to give you some outdoor space for our members on the 12th of April. Finally, all members should have received their membership renewal information via email or letter. Please remember, in order to receive your renewal incentive, you do have to renew by the end of April. Thank you in advance for all your support of the club. We really do appreciate it and understand how difficult this year has been for everybody involved. Fingers crossed we can get the club back to normal very soon, and we look forward to seeing you all in a couple of days' time on the golf courses and on the tennis courts. As always, thank you very much for watching.